We have, produced boots for avid hikers and climbers. Our boots have been on most every major peak in the world. There's a certain point where our boots would be a disservice for somebody to wear. Our highest documented elevation was 22,800 feet.
Wow.
They've been to base camp many, many times. I've got one of the original pictures that started out the whole collection of the boots against the mountains in the background. A gentleman had been to base camp in our boots from Kathmandu almost 50 or 60 times.
Wow.
And the interesting thing of it is we have a first one and then one from 10 years later, and you can see how the boots have changed with his feet because of the wear pattern and everything.
Oh, really?
Well,
Okay.
if you wear a piece of footwear and it's leather, your feet change so slowly, the boot will change with your feet. It's not until you put them away. And the biggest issue we run into with our boots is a lot of people will have their boots during their teens and whatever, then start having a family and they stop wearing them. And then they get back into them when the kids are old enough to start hiking again, and then the boots don't fit.
They don't fit.
But in most cases, we can stretch a boot almost a full size in any direction.
So you can modify it up to a full size?
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that a boot that's 30 years old and broken in, when they get them back, they have to go through the exact same break-in scenario, because the way we modify the boot, it reactivates and stiffens all of the stiffening agents in the boot again.
Wow. Well, when you think about, as people age, they get arthritis, they bunions, and all these, different things. It's nice to know that you have a boot and you can actually keep the same boot.
Yeah.
I mean, I never heard of stretching a shoe a full size.
Yeah.
I have a few shoes I could have you work on.
Okay, you can deal with that. One of my favorite stories with regards to that was that we had a young boy that was a teacher in Maine, and he and his girlfriend at the time had done the Appalachian Trail.
Nice.
We have a picture of him proposing to her on the top of Katahdin, and she accepted.
Oh, nice.
2 years later, they went off to do the Pacific Crest Trail.
Oh, really?
And I never heard from him after that. His name was Flicker. He was a great guy. We always saw him all the time. And finally one day his dad calls me up and says, I got Flicker's boots, and he goes, I can't use them. And I'm like, what happened to them? I'm starting to get goosebumps. He goes, they were in a spot on the PCT. They found something and decided to walk into town to see if they could find the owners. And he said if one car drove by on that road a day, that would have been a lot. And one person went by, fell asleep, and took both he and his wife out.
Oh, that's terrible.
I had the dad come over, and we modified the boots to fit him, and he's been wearing them, and it's like he's always telling me that he's still hiking with his kid. Yeah,
Oh.
it's pretty neat. Yeah.
It's like a heart transplant, but it's like hiking, doing the same journey.
Yeah, it is pretty neat.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
and it was an ode
nice.
to both of them for the most part.
That is a cool
It is
story.
very much so.